This is likely to be one of the most important prepping videos that you'll ever come across. And the reason for that is that in this video I'm going to share with you the secret to how to reach all of your prepping goals without putting in any work.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now waiting, better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything.
Hey everybody, this is Praxis. The most easy way to reach any goal that you might have can be summed up using the following analogy. Let's say you have a road race. You have a starting line, you have a finishing line. What is the most effective way, the fastest way to get from the starting line to the finishing line? Well, if it's some sort of running race, I guess most people would say the best way to get ready for that is to train, increase your speed, have proper diet and nutrition. Heading up to that, maybe the night before, get a lot of carbohydrates in you. I don't know what the current vogue is for how to run marathons, but I remember that used to be one of the approaches. Train, acquire materials, food, energy, get into your body, and that's going to be the best way, the most effective way, the fastest way to get to that finish line. But there's another way of approaching an idea like this. What if the starting line and the finishing line are actually the same place? As soon as you start, you've already won. Now this idea is a concept. It's an idea that's not necessarily literally applicable to every situation, but I think that it's really valuable to think about whenever you are working towards some sort of a goal. This is something that I see all around us all the time, pretty much every day. My boy was doing his homeschool the other day. He was reading through a history book, and he said that in the history book they talked about summing up humanity in one word, and the word that they used to sum it up was hungry. Hungry, always hungry for more. I have a sunchoke patch out of my garden. I've got probably hundreds of sunchokes were in there at the end of last year. I knew we had some voles that were going to share in some of those sunchokes, but I figured the vast majority of those sunchokes would make it through the winter and they'd be able to start sprouting this year. Well, what I didn't know is that because of that extra supply of food, the voles multiplied and there became so many voles that they exhausted all of the sunchoke food supply. As it is at the moment, I only have 5 or 6, I think, sunchokes from which to start my patch all over again. No matter what, whenever there is plenty of supply, humans, voles, deer, all sorts of life expands its desire, expands its demands to consume all of that supply. That's why it doesn't matter how many sunchokes you grow, the voles will always grow their population to consume all those sunchokes and be hungry again. It doesn't matter how much food supply you have for deer, the deer will eventually multiply their populations, outstrip their food supply, and become hungry again, starving again. Or if we're talking about people, financial resources. So many people refer to themselves as having an income problem. I look at it as a spending problem because no matter how much income people make, they always figure out a way of using all of it, living paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by, and always being hungry for more income, for more energy coming into their system. Plenty of people are going to push back on that and just say it's just not possible to live on less than whatever they live on. But I'd ask you to consider this. If you're one of these people that lives paycheck to paycheck and you live on a certain amount of income, I guarantee you there's someone that makes even less than you. And they have the same kind of situation where they consume everything that they have and they're still paycheck to paycheck. And even that person, I guarantee there's someone that makes even less than they do. And that person is still consuming everything, living paycheck to paycheck. You have all this extra buffer, but you found some way of consuming all of it. Humans, deer, voles, they're hungry. No matter how much resource they have available to them, they always want more. No matter how long or short your race course is, whenever you get to that finish line, you always see another finish line. You get to that finish line, you see another finish line, another. Hunger. It defines humans, it defines life. And why is this applicable to prepping? Well, the reason it's applicable to prepping is because prepping is the same as life. Prepping is a microcosm of life. Life is prepping and preparedness. Life is getting ready for challenges and then meeting those challenges. And the key to meeting challenges, the key to accomplishing goals, is to realize what are the critical goals and what are the goals that are discretionary? What are the finish lines that you actually have to reach? And what are the finish lines that you imagine are new, necessary finish lines after that fact? If you can be realistic about where the real finish line is, whether it's miles and miles away or actually much closer, you're going to be able to reach those goals a heck of a lot faster. And if you can get yourself to a point where you can be happy not with what you want, but be happy with what you need, happiness, survival is going to be so much more possible. In the world that we're living in right now, we're getting to the point where so many people are starting to feel that hunger. People that never used to feel that hunger before. And I don't mean, strictly speaking, hunger in terms of food, but hunger in terms of food, hunger in terms of resources, hunger in terms of energy, hunger in terms of finances. More and more people are feeling that hunger. And the best way of getting yourself to a point where you can reach whatever goal it is that you're trying to reach is to bring that goal closer to you. Now, a lot of people are going to see this as me advocating for a diminishing of the quality of life. But every single scientific study that has ever been done on this topic of happiness and wealth, happiness and resources, happiness and material achievement always comes up with exactly the same answer. Happiness is not based on anything more than what we need. Once we achieve our goals of what we need to survive, happiness after that comes from family connections, friend connections, having the ability to help other people. Everything after that close goal that is very achievable for many of us, everything after that doesn't bring us any closer to happiness. Once you get here, you don't have to go all the way to that distant goal that society has told you need to get. Once you get here, everything else after that is kind of a waste of your time if you're pursuing all those far distant goals. So when you're thinking about your prepping goals, your life goals, your financial goals, think about what you need and achieve that goal. And after you achieve that goal, your time is really going to be unlocked so that you can focus on the things that really matter. In prepping and preparedness, it's really the same thing. People talk about all of these huge lofty goals that they have, whether it is bunkers or homesteads or massive gardens and decades worth of food supply. All these things, they have their use, they have their utility. But if these goals are so big and so distant that they are blinding you from what the real goals are, the short-term goals of just getting yourself to a stable position, then those distant goals, those goals that are difficult to achieve without years and years of work, they're not adding anything to your life. Because for so many of us, those goals are like the rabbit that gets held in front of the greyhounds as they race. They're never ever going to achieve that, but it keeps them moving, it keeps them running, it keeps their economic activity going. And that is why, to a large degree, I believe that these types of goals are held out in our society to keep people running in that treadmill, keep us going, not even realizing necessarily what we're running towards, but just knowing that happiness is in our future. Happiness can be a lot closer than I think a lot of us realize. Survival can be a lot closer than a lot of us realize. When you can be happy with nothing, you can be the happiest person on earth because you can never go lower than nothing. Now, all of us need food, we need shelter, we need water, we need those basic things. But if you can realize that your goal for food, shelter, water, finances doesn't have to be miles and miles away in the distance, but can be an awful lot closer. If you can marry your starting line to your finish line, you'll be able to reach your goals so much faster. So whether it's your everyday, ordinary, day-to-day life, or if it's your prepping goals, prepping journey, think about the difference between what you want and what you need. Prioritize what you need. See if you can feel comfortable, happy, and fulfilled with just what you need, and your life will be a lot more fulfilling, a lot more enjoyable, a lot more happy. If after you fulfill your needs, you can spend your time, instead of chasing after those distant goals that all of us may never get to, you can spend that time on the things that really matter. Family, friends, helping others, and really making those connections that give our lives a sense of fulfillment. That's it, and thanks for watching. Hey YouTube preppers, if you enjoyed this video, here's another that I think you might like. But before you click on it, I wanted to take a moment to thank all the people you see on the right-hand side of your screen. They help to support all the work that I do here over at patreon.com. If you'd like to join them and get your name added to the list, the link's below.